Hello and welcome to episode 156 of Controller Club, the friendly face gaming space, a podcast where three friends from three continents share in one love, and that is video games. On today's show, the last ever Controller Club episode without the Switch 2 out in the world. Very excited about that. SGF is almost here. The Zelda movie could be amazing, and another game is gone. It's gotten the axe. Black Panther has been canceled. But before all that, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Kleinfeld, and alongside me today are two of my best friends in the whole wide gaming world. First, coming to us from across the pond, it is the digital art at Daredevil himself, Tom Drew. Tom, we are mere days away. We are mere hours away at this point from a Switch 2 happening. What's the first thing you're going to do when you open up this box later this week?
The first thing I'm gonna do is take the SD card that I also bought with it and put it in, I guess, because that's important. You need your storage space. I was a bit worried going into this week because I hadn't heard anything about my pre-order, and then I got an email today, and the headline was important information about your pre-order, and I was like, oh no, has it been cancelled? I'm like, this is over for me. But luckily everything's fine. The pre-order hopefully should still be okay. But yeah, I just think probably just gonna have a look at it for a little bit. Maybe test the weight in my hands, the clunking. I'm very interested about the clunking of the Joy-Cons. So I'm probably gonna just sit there for at least a good 10 minutes, just going clunk, clunk, clunk. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with the Switch 2. That'll be
I'm
fun.
very much looking forward to the photo shoot I'm going to have with the Switch 2, the original Switch, and Gabby's Switch Lite. So we can do a size
Ooh,
comparison. Take that,
yeah.
put it up on the socials, get that out there, and then got to download that day one patch because Nintendo, for some reason, has a day one patch for the console ready to go. And that's going to be Mario Kart all weekend long. I'm so excited. But it's not just us two here today, Tom. Also joining us, it is journalist extraordinaire, the Australian abroad, not nearly as excited for the Switch 2 as we are, but enjoying the excitement, I think, by osmosis. Lauren Rouse. Lauren, how are you? How are things? What's going on?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm just admiring from afar what is going on in the gaming industry right now. I'll be a innocent bystander in what is about to happen because I am not getting a Switch 2 at launch at least. So I'm interested to see how you guys feel about it. But there's plenty of other gaming things to be excited for, which is going to take up all my attention anyway.
Some would say too many things. Too many things. The fact that Nintendo is launching a console this week of all weeks, this month of all months, it's just absolutely wild. We have SGF happening this weekend. We will be live streaming for that for some of the conferences, the kind of opening night live at SGF on Friday, I guess, Pacific time evening, afternoon. And then Sunday morning, we'll be getting up and doing the Xbox live stream as well. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on throughout the weekend with Switch 2 coverage and all sorts of things. So we will, I'm sure, we'll hop on the podcast late next weekend and talk all about everything that's happening, everything we were enjoying about the Switch 2, everything we've seen at SGF and all of that. But that's not happening today. It's been a little bit since we've done a normal show here on the show. So we're going to get into it. We're going to do this thing. We're going to do the news. We've got a segment to do later. So let's do it. Tom Drew, I know it's been a while. Give us that news we choose jingle.
It's the news we choose. Yeah.
Yeah, and as I said, it has been a few weeks. If you did dip out because maybe you weren't watching The Last of Us Part 2, we were doing weekly reviews of The Last of Us Season 2 here on the show. But we're back to our regularly scheduled programming, and we'll kick things off with the biggest story of the last week. Lauren Rouse, take it away.
All right. So news broke this last week that the Black Panther game that was in development at EA has been cancelled. So this story comes from Rebecca Valentine at IGN, who writes, Electronic Arts is cancelling its planned Black Panther game and shutting down developer Cliffhanger Games, IGN has learned. In an email sent to staff from EA Entertainment President Laura Mealy, Mealy said that these changes, alongside other recent cancellations and layoffs, are being done to, quote, sharpen our focus and put our creative energy behind the most significant growth opportunities. To that end, Mealy's email continues, the company is focusing on a small handful of franchises going forward: Battlefield, The Sims, Skate, and Apex Legends. Mealy assures EA will continue to invest in its Iron Man game, Ed Motive, and the third Star Wars Jedi game, as well as maintain its mobile business despite today's cut. And then adding to this, we had some insight from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, who sort of revealed why the game was cancelled and also what it would have been like. So in his newsletter, he wrote, "The news came as a shock to many Cliffhanger employees, according to people familiar with this week's events. Cliffhanger was actively hiring staff, and Black Panther had recently passed what EA calls a gate, which is a development milestone where executives review a game's progress and decide whether to continue production. The team had momentum, and the project was coalescing, according to the people who asked not to be identified. Others familiar with the project told me that EA executives were frustrated that the game had not yet left the pre-production phase after nearly 4 years in development." And on top of that, he revealed that the game would have expanded on the Nemesis system, which is that gameplay system that was used in Shadow of Mordor. It would have featured various playable heroes such as T'Challa, Killmonger, and Shuri, who are all competing for the mantle of the Black Panther. And the player would take control of one of these heroes while the others would become rivals with whom the player could cultivate relationships. And that the heroes would be allied against an opposing force of aliens called Skrulls. So that's a hell of a lot more information about the Black Panther game than we had last week, but unfortunately, we're never going to see it come to fruition because it's now cancelled and another studio has been closed. It's kind of an old story in the games industry at this point, and a disappointing one that we can't really get excited about games anymore because we don't know if they're even going to make it to the end. But I want to know if you guys are surprised by this news at all, and whether you kind of like the sound of what this Black Panther game was going to be based on the hints that we've heard about it. Tom, you're a big Marvel fan. We're all big Marvel fans. We write at the Direct. But what do you think about this news?
Yeah, I can believe this, especially because like it hurts, especially coming off the fact that Wonder Woman also recently just got cancelled, which is another big superhero game. So the fact that we're not getting this either is just like, oh my god, this sounds like it would have been like really cool. I think like Wakanda really lends itself to like such a like a fun like area or location to explore, and some of the concept art that has kind of trickled out that they were working on like looked incredible. um it is just a shame. Like I feel like um obviously they're still going ahead with the Iron Man game. It's debatable whether like Iron Man versus Black Panther is a how big those franchises are in comparison to one another, but I feel like Black Panther is huge. It's insane to me that they would go this route. I feel like a Black Panther game would have done amazing and really filled kind of a niche in like this the superhero video game genre, especially from what they kind of talk about in this report, like about what the game would have been about. But it just sucks, man. And yeah, like I worry about plenty of the other games that may have been announced with not much information, or even games that have like a lot of like details kind of ironed out. There's maybe some games we'll talk about a bit later that I don't know if we're gonna see, like if like what will we see these games like come to fruition actually. I don't really know, but yeah, it's kind of a troubling sign that a lot of these big games aren't seeing their way to fruition, because presumably because they are so big, like these AAA things, they're expensive, and I guess the executives don't see the return on investment. But like, it just sucks. It just sucks we're in this space with gaming at the moment.
And it's like especially disappointing for Cliffhanger in particular because it's not like with Monolith. We'd seen Monolith games for years and years and years. Like this team was assembled to make this game and never shipped anything, and now it's gone. And so we never even really got to see what their pedigree could be. Not to say Monolith didn't have the pedigree. Ironically, this is a team made up of mostly former Monolith people. That like the vice president of Monolith at the time was poached by EA to come over and explicitly make a Black Panther game in the style of the Shadow of the War or Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor kind of thing. And it's never going to happen. And now you have both Monolith and Cliffhanger games gone. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's also interesting. We know that there is Marvel 1943, which is a Captain America and Black Panther game. So I am assuming that one's going to make it. It seems to be a lot further in development. It's from Skydance Studios, and
just got delayed.
It did get delayed, but I think it's got to be far enough along.
Yeah, it was supposed to be this year.
Tangible. Yeah. So we will get some Black Panther stuff and some new Marvel stuff from them, but it is surprising to me that even the biggest names in pop culture like Wonder Woman and Black Panther aren't enough to get games through the process anymore. And I don't know if this is a result of them just being like struggling to nail the right format or tone for it. Like, you know, Spider-Man at Insomniac, they completely, like, everything had to come together for that to work, and it did. But not all games, I guess, are like that in the development process, and potentially that's what's happened here. But the studio, like EA, is just not willing to give them enough time to fix that or to figure it out, which is a shame.
I love the quote coming from the president. The sharpen our focus and put our creative energy behind the most significant growth opportunities. Is Marvel not like a
Yeah.
significant growth opportunity? Is Black Panther like specifically not a significant growth opportunity? Like one of the, I would say, like hottest names in that kind of genre. To me, this screams Marvel licensing fees are a lot of money. And we like, even you brought up Insomniac, Lauren. We've seen those from those like leaks a long time ago, a few years ago now. We saw like there were reports coming out of that they did not, they barely made money on Marvel Spider-Man 1 and Marvel Spider-Man 2 because using Marvel characters and using the Marvel world costs a lot. And so I can see a world in which EA looks at that and goes, is this worth it? Maybe we've missed some milestones. Now we owe them a little bit more money because we said this game was going to be here at this point and it's not coming. So let's cut our losses. But they're still saying, yeah, Iron Man's still happening. And there's reportedly this was a 3-game deal. And there's another game out there. There's another EA Marvel game still sitting somewhere being developed. So it's like, if the licensing fees were, I don't know, if you can like you can stomach them now, why couldn't you stomach them before you canceled Black Panther? But it's the
Maybe.
industry. It's a different
Yeah.
different games. Every game's a different story. So we don't know.
Maybe EA has had some trying times recently. I'm trying to think, you know, Star Wars Outlaws didn't really. Wait, that's not EA. That's Ubisoft.
No, that's
Yeah.
Ubisoft. I have seen a stat going around that EA is 800 people bigger this year at this time than it was last year at this time. But then there is also reports going around that Codemasters, one of their racing studios, is in the process of being shuttered by them. But they're not, I don't think they're letting all of those people go. I think they're kind of strategically moving them into different roles.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's I just like I struggle to like think with EA. Obviously, yeah, like they said, they got Iron Man games coming, the Star Wars Jedi games coming. But you know, like Sims 5 was going to happen for a while, but now that seemingly is off the table. I
I
just
like they
struggle to
mentioned
think like,
Skate as one of the pillars. It's like Skate is
yeah,
so unproven. That game isn't out yet. Like you haven't made a Skate game since 2010, and now you're making this free to play games as a service Skate that I'm excited to play, but I am concerned about. And that is
yeah,
like that's the pillars we're planting our flag now. Like that seems bizarre to me. Just the even the games they kind of list as their things: Battlefield, Sims, Apex Legends, and Skate. It's like
yeah. It
okay,
is an odd choice because, like, you know, I would like to play another skate game, but I think to a general, like, this is coming from someone who's not like an executive or whatever, but like to me, looking at it, like a general consumer would, I feel like, would be much more interested in like a Black Panther game for, like, as a gamer than like a skate game because they already have like these other um you know, there are other skating games out there. At the end of the day, you'll have, you know, obviously 1943, like we talked about, with that gives you that kind of Black Panther itch, but it doesn't seem like there'll be something quite like this. So it's just strange. It's just a strange decision.
In terms of what the game would have been like this idea of switching between heroes, fighting the Skrulls, using the Nemesis system, was there anything there that we thought was quite exciting? I was struggling to see how all these pieces fit together, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess like would it be a shifting narrative if you are picking like different uh characters? I think
And
that'd
is
be
it like a
cool.
battle royale? Like you're in like multiplayer style?
I mean,
Because that doesn't
I don't
appeal
think
to me. I'm
so.
not gonna
I think
lie.
that from the job listings we saw, it all seemed very single player,
Okay,
like third person action. I bet it was just like shifting protagonists. It would have been cool if there was rumors about this game a while ago that like it was about fighting for the title of Black Panther. And so it would have
that
been
seems right.
cool maybe if you can like you could have picked a character for specific missions, and then by the end of the game like that would change who ultimately becomes Black Panther in your story.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool to be able to change with them at will instead of being like, oh, I'm going to pick Killmonger and now I'm with him the entire game. To have different Black
Yeah, like mission
Panthers
by
for.
mission,
Yeah,
kind of like
exactly.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Shadows did for some of the missions,
Yeah,
things like that,
exactly.
where you could like,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
like
go in
Spider-Man
as
2.
Shuri
Like,
this time.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
totally.
yeah, Spider-Man 2.
yeah, I think that would totally work. But yeah, I guess maybe the thought, if it was just you pick like either T'Challa or Killmonger or Shuri, maybe it was like an idea of like replayability. Like if you play with one character, there's a
Mm.
like incentive to go back and play with like a different one. But I do wonder how much it would actually fundamentally change like the actual story, because that is like a lot of work. Like at this point to make those decisions and change the story that much.
Anyway, we'll never know.
We'll never know. We'll never know. But a game that should come out maybe soon. I don't know. Tom Drew, your news story.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the James Bond game, which is hopefully coming out, which got a name this week and a tease of gameplay later this week. So this comes from IO Interactive directly, and they've confirmed a few new details about their James Bond game. Now officially titled 007 First Light, the game will be seeing a full gameplay reveal later this week. There isn't much else to go off of just yet besides a shadowy Bond wielding a pistol and a turned up collar. Interestingly, just last month, IO put out a call for animators to come work on the project, so it's a bit unclear how far along the game actually is. Earlier in the year, Nintendo's Switch 2 Direct had a brief nod towards 007, confirming that the game would indeed be hitting the upcoming console as well. So obviously there's not really much to go off of. We know the game is still happening. I mean, we knew it was kind of on the way, but kind of being surprisingly dropped. Like with not much information either at that Switch 2 Direct, which is kind of interesting. But I just kind of wanted to talk about like what your guys' hopes for the game are. And I mean, we know we're going to see gameplay later this week. Where do you think we're actually going to see it? Because we know we have the Summer Games Fest showcase. We have the Xbox One. Is it going to show up at one of those? Is it going to be a separate thing? Klein, will go to you. What do you think?
Well, Tom, I would like to direct you over to IO Interactive's official social media channels because they have announced that the 007 Bond game will be a part of an IO Interactive showcase happening
Oh,
Friday, June 6th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That is 4 hours after the Summer Games Fest thing. So, what I think will happen is I think we will get a trailer as a part of the SG Jeff showcase, and then we will get we're going to spend 15 minutes. Welcome to the world of James Bond,
mm,
February 2026. Or like, I think this game is imminent. Just the
yeah,
fact that we saw it and the way we did at Switch 2 after years of nothing, and now all of a sudden, 3 months later, we are taking a deep dive again. I think that we see this game in the next 12 months. So I bet we get gameplay. They show us a mission. It's going to look like Hitman with James Bond with a little more, I think, pop and circumstance. Like there's going to be some more action heavy sequences than the Hitman games. But I'm so excited to see what this game looks like because IO, they've been cooking, I'm sure, and it's going to look great. Don't know about the title, First Light. Kind of
mm,
like,
Mm.
okay, it's an early Bond story, I guess, but I would have liked maybe, I haven't looked actually. I would have liked if it had like a book title, one of
Mm.
the 007 books. I don't think First Light is one of them, but
yeah. No, the title is an interesting point because yeah, it doesn't really evoke that kind of Bond naming convention.
mm,
Almost, it could have been called like "Remember to Kill Your Best Friend" or something like this one of
even
those
if it
like
was just
"No
like
Time to
IO
Die" or whatever.
Interactive's Bond or like 007
Yeah,
Bond or something,
yeah,
would have been
I,
fine.
I want to point out we had this exact same debate about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, like lauding
true.
that title. Turned out the game was very good. So this might be a good sign.
Yeah. We could be we could be jumping the gun a little bit here. So I'm willing to give it a shot. Yeah, I think like uh, that makes sense in terms of like I think we will see this game relatively
Could
soon.
it be a this year game?
I
I'm
think it
just
might
like thinking
it
about
could
this
be.
now.
The
Could it?
the fact that GTA 6 is well kind of out of the way, maybe there's a space for Bond to fill that niche. I did find it interesting that they were hiring animators, but I wonder well, two potential reasonings for that came to my mind. One, maybe it's to do with like they're in the final phases of trying to get this game out. They need extra help to push that along. or maybe there's a longer term plan for this game and they're gonna like continually update it, or like there's DLC or something like that. So
A
I
game
think
is a secret service.
there you go. Yeah, put it on the box or the digital storefront, I guess. But yeah, I get the sense that it's gonna kind of be leaning towards more of the modern Daniel Craig kind of esque Bond to me, at least to me, that's the kind of sense I get from the teaser image. But I would just love if it was a bit more like leaning into the 60s era where it was a bit more goofy. You had gadgets, you had and like villains with metal jaws and all this stuff. I feel like a video game you can get away with that sort of stuff a bit more. I don't know if they're gonna actually do that, but I would kind
They
of
could
love
like
it.
Arkhamize it a bit. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Arkham included some of like the goofier Batman stuff, but still kept it fairly grounded.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I feel like I could see them doing that. But yeah, Lauren, what do you make of it? What would you like to see out of this game?
I think in terms of what I want this game to be is I think like the Hitman that they're the right people to do it. They've made Hitman, and I like a lot of what Hitman does. And I think it would be cool if it is a bit of a choose your own adventure kind of approach to Bond. Like, am I going to talk to these people? Maybe I'm going to poison this person, or maybe I'll go in guns blazing and that kind of effect. Like, I like that kind of approach, which was also similar a little bit to plenty of games, but like Arkham. Like, do you stealth it? Do you go full on with combat? Do you use gadgets? That kind of thing would be cool. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, what if it I wonder if it would be really cool to, and this is going to be like, people will think that this is woke or whatever, but what if you could customize your own Bond? Like, there's been all this debate about who the next Bond is in the movie franchise. Will it be will it be a person of color for the first time? Will it be a female for the first time? Like, what if you could just pick and then you are your own Bond in this story, and it doesn't matter like who that is?
I mean, it is called 007, so like it very much could be. I mean, I could see that happening. I think that would be pretty cool. Like, I don't know. I don't like. I don't see that. This seems like a win to me. Like, I think that'd be a good way to go about it.
I will hold my comments on that for another part of the podcast.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. We'll circle back. We'll circle back.
We'll circle back. Put a pin in that one. Okay, we will jump to the last news story of the week. Guys, the Legend of Zelda casting rumor train has officially started. It's been just fan casting before this, but Daniel RPK is on the case, and he has put a name forward for Princess Zelda. This is coming from Paul Tassi at Forbes. It remains to be seen where Westball's upcoming not The Last of Us, The Legend of Zelda movie is a good idea at baseline, but now a casting search appears to be spooling up for its major roles, including the titular princess. A new report from insider Daniel RPK reveals that a specific actress is being eyed for the role, one that social media fans were theory casting even before this news broke. That would be Euphoria's Hunter Schafer. As soon as the movie was announced, the side-by-side comparisons started emerging about how perfectly she would fit into the role. Now, the film may have taken that to heart and may be pursuing the star. We've talked at length about the Zelda movie, about Hunter Schafer being in the Zelda movie on this podcast. I just want to know, now that it is actually like in the rumor sphere, and Daniel RPK by no means has a 100% track record, but I'd say he hits a lot more than he misses. What do we think? Is this actually happening? And how excited are you about the idea of Hunter Schafer actually taking on the role of Princess Zelda? Lauren?
Yeah, I was excited about it when we fan cast it. We really couldn't think of many alternatives who we thought would be perfect. So I think she's got it in the bag if it's the truth. And yeah, it would be nice to see. I mean, I'm not sure how much the studios looked into like what fans actually think about this, but if they have been listening, I'm interested to see whether they listen about anybody else in the cast as well. But yeah, I think this would be really good for the movie.
Tom, what do you think? Are you into it?
Yeah, I think it's a good casting if it is true. I mean, I'm always apprehensive with these kind of rumors just because I don't want to get like my hopes up and then it just turns out to be someone else, because we had that with like Fantastic Four, for example. Like, that was such a up and down like casting thing where there were rumors and reports and it's like, what is even true? Um I'm not like totally familiar with Hunter Schafer that much. I mean, I've seen her in the last Hunger Games, which she wasn't in that much, so didn't really get that much of an impression, but I thought she was good in that role. And I haven't seen like Euphoria or Cuckoo that she was in as well. But I think she's got the look, like, and from everything I've heard, I've heard she's amazing in Euphoria, especially. So I think like she could be a great Zelda. Um, I think I talked about this when we fan casted the movie. But I'll repeat it here. I just feel like the harder casting is definitely Link. Like that is going to be
Oh,
so much
totally.
harder to nail. So I'm going to be so curious when those kind of reports and rumors kind of trickle out, because I can't
I
picture
have no idea what
anyone in
they
that
do.
role. Yeah,
They
I
cast
think
Chris
like,
Pratt. That's what they do.
oh God, Lauren,
yeah,
don't
okay,
don't
let's
even
do
put that
that.
into the
Fine.
universe.
Or Tom
The
Holland.
Yeah, either of them could do it.
I think Tom
I don't want
Holland is
young Link.
ultimately
I don't want
where
young
we're
Link.
gonna go, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I would, yeah, I
I'd
would
be
honestly
way
He has
more.
to
agree.
I don't
paint
think he
though.
would do it. I don't think he'd do it, but I think Chalamet is like perfect. But I don't think it's gonna happen. He's
Okay.
already doing like he is Paul Atreides. I think that he's destined. I don't want to say destined for greater things than the Zelda movie, but like I don't know.
I, I don't think he needs the Zelda movie,
He
is
doesn't
what I
need the
think I'm
Zelda
trying to
movie.
say.
Tom
Yeah.
Holland to me, I don't know if he needs a Zelda movie either.
He doesn't
He's
need
No,
it.
Spider
he
Man.
doesn't need
He's Spider Man. He's gonna get married to Zendaya. He doesn't need anything. He did it.
it. Yeah. But yeah, I just
Yeah.
can't picture. I can't picture anyone in Link. They almost. I feel like if they went unknown, I feel like that would almost be better. In some ways, but
Go
yeah,
unknown there, and then have like a really big Ganondorf casting, like a
yeah,
real like
yeah.
Javier Bardem is Ganondorf, and then you can do
hmm
Javier Bardem, Hunter Schafer, and then this unknown.
Introducing blank as
Hmm.
Link. Introducing Kleinfeld as Link.
Oh, it's
I
me.
want to see that.
Yeah, it'll be. I think that we'll get that news sooner than later, just because it is March 2027. It's coming out, so they've got to start shooting this thing before March 2026. I think we're around that time, so we'll
Yeah.
know in the next few months. But that's gonna do it for the news this week. Tom Drew, give us the outro.
It's the news we choose. Yeah.
And we get into our SGF predictions. Summer Games Fest is upon us. E3 season, if you still want to call it that. I'll call it E3 till the day that I die, even though that ship sailed a very long time ago. And one of my favorite podcasts of the year, we will be doing our SGF predictions. How this works, if you haven't listened to one of our predictions podcasts before, we do one at the beginning of every year. We do one here. We're going to go through kind of like a draft style and draft SGF predictions for the entire season, I would say. I'll go through what we have on the list, on the docket right now, what has been confirmed that is actually happening. We will be live streaming this Friday, starting at 2 p.m. is the Summer Games Fest kickoff. That is June 6th, 2 p.m. Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. British time.
Yep.
Look it up for anywhere else. Then there is the IO Showcase. IO Interactive is happening that same day, June 6th at 6 p.m. Pacific. We'll probably get more Bond there. And then the next thing we'll be live streaming again is the Xbox Showcase, as well as the Outer Worlds 2 Direct. That's happening on June 8th. That is this coming Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific. Just dating this podcast is making it the least evergreen thing ever. If you're listening from the future and you're going to listen to the predictions, let us know how we did, because I don't know, we could be totally off base here. There are a number of other things happening throughout the weekend, just nothing nearly as big as this. We have Day of the Devs is doing their thing. We have Devolver has announced they're going to do another crazy live stream as they usually do. And there's all sorts of things like the Cozy Game Showcase. There's really early on Saturday morning, and a whole bunch of other kind of live streams where you can just settle in and watch some game announcements. I will be watching as many as I can, just because I enjoy seeing game trailers thrown at me. But I'm most looking forward to Summer Games Fest and the Xbox Showcase. We do also have a few rumors going around. First one, this came up today as the time recording. State of Play could be announced for this week still. We were recording this on Monday at like 2:30 p.m. Pacific. So we could be getting a State of Play. I think we'll probably get one before June is over. So if you want to make State of Play predictions, you totally can. And then Nintendo Direct, no one really knows what's happening. Some people are like, it's coming in June. We're going to get one. We're going to get one this month. And then other people are saying, no, they're just going to let the Switch 2 sit and we will not get one. So if you want to make a Nintendo 2 or Direct prediction, You totally can. I just want to get the vibe in the room. How are we feeling about this year's SGF? It does feel, to me at least, a little like I'm not amped up like I have been in the past.
I'm quite excited because I think with GTA 6 out of the schedule in the back corner now, people know where it is. I think now's the opportunity for some other games to really plant the flag for the rest of the year, and I'm excited to see what that is. And there's a lot of partners lined up for Summer Games Fest this year. Interestingly, Nintendo is a partner. So I wonder if we don't get a whole Nintendo Direct dedicated thing, we might get more of them from the actual just Summer Games showcase. Um, but also, like, they've got the console coming out. I think that's probably maybe a reason they wouldn't do a direct right now, is because they want to focus on like launching the console, and then once that's settled, the dust has settled a little bit, it might be like, okay, and now here's what else you have to look forward to. But I think they can also take advantage of that on opening night live, have some trailers sprinkled throughout to keep the momentum going for the Switch without doing an entire dedicated direct. But maybe I'll eat my words and they'll announce one in like 2 days.
Nintendo's name, it's on the poster. It's you can they
Exactly.
have that as all the associated developers and publishers. They're there. So who knows if we'll actually see them or not. Tom Drew, are you excited? Are you feeling the energy? Or are you just like totally switch two pilled at this point? You're like, just give me the new console. I don't care about anything else.
No, I've
Donkey
got a
Kong
little.
Bonanza's coming. Why would I care about anything else?
Exactly, and that's going to be, preemptively game of the year. No, I think there is like a small, not small part, but there's a part of my excitement that is definitely dedicated to some Game Fest. I'm really excited to especially watch these live streams with you guys and see what is in store. I guess kind of like what Lauren was saying. With GTA 6 out of the way, I feel like other than like some of the bigger ones like Ghost of Yotei, I know we're getting later in the year. Like the rest of the year is kind of like an unknown, at least to me. So it'd be nice to see what else we are getting for the rest of the year as it shakes out. In terms of like Nintendo, I feel like they recently announced for some reason a Pokemon Presents is happening like towards the end of July, which is crazy. They're announcing that like 2 months in advance,
The
but
longest lead time for a Pokemon Presents ever.
which is insane. But it also, I wonder if that kind of signals that a Nintendo Direct is happening and potentially signaling that it's happening earlier. Almost kind of like saying this Pokemon stuff going to happen here, and like when the Nintendo Direct kind of like gets announced or whatever, maybe it's not expect any like huge Pokemon news because we're all going to be talking about Pokemon later in July. I do feel like we're going to get a Direct, maybe not this weekend because Switch 2 launch plus a direct, I think it would like be kind of crazy for
Why not?
consumers
Just
to
do it all
follow.
now.
I mean, I would love it. I think it would be amazing, but I think like seeing how the launch goes and then kind of teasing what is to come for people who didn't get a Switch at launch.
Hmm.
What's to come later on, later in the month, I think would be kind of a smart play. So I think we'll get that. But yeah, in terms of what I've got predictions for kind of each of the potentials that are coming up. So we'll get into that in a second.
I think to add to that, if anything, I don't think Nintendo needs the Direct. I think PlayStation needs the State of Play because
Oh
all the
yeah,
other big players are here. Like Nintendo already has the ball in their court with this big console launch. Xbox as a showcase as usual. I think they need to do something here because beyond Death Stranding and Ghost of Yotei, which Ghost of Yotei we've only really seen 2-ish trailers, this could be the time to do that gameplay reveal. But like, tell us what else is happening because we don't really know, and now is the time to like bring the focus back to you instead of and try and make a mark in this landscape. So I would be surprised if they don't have a state of play this week.
Interesting that all the PlayStation reporting has been about state of play talk. There's the showcase conversation is silent. Don't know if we'll get one of those this year. I think that maybe in the fall, but it's not happening now. I thought for sure we would this spring get a PlayStation showcase, but May has come and gone, which is usually the time when we would get those, and we haven't gotten anything.
yeah. Well, I mean, one of my predictions might be tied to why that might be, so I won't say any more than
Ooh, because
All
they're
right.
shutting down. No more PlayStation. It's
that.
dead.
PlayStation is over.
We'll put
Xbox
that into the
One.
universe.
Okay, let's get into the predictions. We will start off with Lauren because for the last 8 weeks, Lauren has been our wonderful guide through the post apocalypse, putting in the work, taking notes for The Last of Us Season 2. So you get the first prediction off the board, Lauren Rouse. What are you predicting? We're doing 4 each, by the way.
Okay. I have kind of forgotten how we do this and like what kind of things we predict. So we're just going to wing it. But one thing that I definitely think it's probably I don't know if it's an easy win, but anyway, one thing I definitely think we're seeing this weekend at the Xbox showcase is Hollow Knight Silksong. I think we're finally getting a new trailer and we're finally getting that release date because the Switch 2 Direct, I think it was, confirmed it's a 2025 release, right? So now I think let's actually get confirmation of that at the Xbox showcase because that's where it also Silksong debuted, I think, how many years ago? Like
A long time ago, when
5
they
years
said every
ago?
game in that showcase was going to come out
Yeah.
within the year of the showcase.
Yeah, and I actually have like a few Xbox thoughts, particularly because mainly because we know they're going to be there. But beyond like that sort of developer direct we got earlier this year, like all those games are kind of out now, and so I think they need to start like planting flags for the rest of the year and what's coming. And I think like Silksong isn't exclusive to them, but like that might be one of the big hitters in their showcase.
For sure. I think that Hollow Knight Silksong, I'm gonna look dumb if it doesn't happen, but it has to happen. But we've been saying that for years. But I do really feel like this time it has to happen. It does.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Yeah, I don't think it makes sense for them to just like very casually include Silksong in that direct and then not to follow up on that. I feel like there is like a bigger plan there because that would be insane for them to just be like, "Oh yeah, Hollow Knight's coming this year." I guess in
Yeah.
that, and
By the
then
way,
nothing,
Yeah,
which would be
just the
insane.
biggest
So
thing ever.
yeah,
Lauren,
so
this
I
doesn't. Oh no, go ahead, Tom.
no, I was just
Finish
gonna
your
say
thought.
I do think we're gonna like see this either at Xbox Showcase, maybe Nintendo Directs. Like I could see like it showing up somewhere.
Yeah, or the
At
main
some Games
show.
Fest. Yeah,
Lauren,
definitely.
it doesn't have to be a part of the prediction, but is it a 25 or 2025 game?
Yeah,
Like,
I
does
think
this
so.
release date? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Into it. Tom, you can go next. What is your next
Okay.
or what is your first prediction?
Okay. Like I said, I think I'm gonna go. In terms of my predictions, I have a prediction for the Summer Games Fest showcase, then PlayStation, then Nintendo, then Xbox. So I
Sure.
have one for each. And I kind of teed it up a little bit with the PlayStation talk. So I think I'm gonna go
PlayStation's
there.
dead. It's over.
Well, something might be dead, and I we can talk about it. I think Marathon is not going to be shown at Summer Games Fest or
Oh, it's
PlayStation
gonna be
2.
completely silent.
I think they're not going to do it, and I think that's why we might have not seen like a state of play or showcase or whatever. There have been reports about Marathon, like I don't know, a lot of weird
Stealing
stuff.
art.
Like stealing art, that's one thing. The marketing kind of being pulled, and like kind of campaign, which is a crazy thing to happen because marketing is very tied to like media releases and stuff. So for that to happen, if that is true, is pretty significant. Um, I didn't play the beta or anything, because I think it was on PC anyway, so I didn't get a chance to play it. But it seemed like a lukewarm response to what the game actually seems to be. I feel like I don't think Marathon's dead necessarily, but I have a feeling they're reeling it back a bit. Bungie is coming off, stuff with Destiny 2 and trying to keep that going. I think they're in a kind of a sore spot with PlayStation and really wanting Marathon to work. And I think the only way they do that is kind of take a step back and either announce a different release strategy with it, whether it's like, okay, we're going to do like an early access thing and it's kind of going to be like a work in progress thing that you guys can come along with us and join the ride, and that's kind of how they do it, or they delay it and then rework it a lot, maybe add a campaign, maybe do a lot of different stuff with it. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going with that.
It's a game in maybe not in trouble, in turmoil for sure. They've had definitely some steps back over the last couple of weeks. It was, I don't know if it was ever announced for 2025, but that was the rumor that it was going
Yeah.
to be later this year. But with this stolen art stuff and the just like general reception of the beta, I think that if you're PlayStation, you take your time with this one. You let it breathe and you put it out next year or something, or do what you said, Tom, where like in January they're like, hey, guess what, you can be a part of the development team too by playing early access.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think they touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I think I agree. The controversy is too recent. It would seem like in bad taste for them to have a hype trailer right now. Um, so yeah, I agree.
We'll go to my first prediction, which I had written down. I want it on the record. I had written down before today that the James Bond game would be revealed. And here we are. James Bond is
Okay.
happening. So I've reworked my prediction a bit. The James Bond in the James Bond game is going to be revealed. In that initial social media post, it is a shadowy figure. You don't see who it is. All you can see is hair. I've seen some people online say the hair kind of looks like Josh Peck. I don't think it's Josh Peck, but it does look like it does look like Josh Peck's
Saying
hair.
that. What the hell?
The internet, people on the internet, just you gotta go find the right people. I think it's going to be announced that Raoul Coley is playing James Bond in IO Interactive's James
Ooh.
Bond game.
Why do you think him?
Because he, for years, has been tweeting about anytime a rumor about casting James Bond in the movies comes up, his name pops up, and he always is like so into it. And he's like, that's the dream. That's a dream role. That's what I want to do. And he's just like, he's a really hot name. We just saw him get announced with the new Returnal game.
Yeah.
Time
He's
Matter?
going to be in
Is that what it's
that.
called?
He's
Yeah.
British, which
He's
is a
British.
Yes.
huge thing. He's not white, which I also think it will be a direction that they go with whatever Bond. There's been talk of that forever, of people have a more diverse Bond. So yeah, I just have a good feeling. Raoul Coley, James Bond.
Ooh. I mean, I do love Rahul, so I think that would be really cool if they go that direction. My only kind of quibble with this is that because of the other game that he's appearing in, whether he had time to be in this.
Tom, let me
Yeah.
introduce you to a man named Troy Baker, okay?
Okay.
People can be in more than one
Oh, I'm
game at
not
the
sure
same time.
necessarily time, but like contracts potentially.
Yeah, I guess that could be a
Like
factor.
if he's contractually obliged to one studio or not. We don't know what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think he
I
can be in more than one game. Dude, like Ben
Yeah.
stars everywhere. He's in everything.
Yeah. I guess he was also in that Warhammer game recently, I think. So he could do it. I do like this. I think he would be sick. And I think like it would just be nice to go in that direction. I think for Bond and like prove that it's possible in a way, and like that it could be really great. So I hope this is true. Like I think it'd be really sick.
I would be happy for him to be Bond. Like I really like Raoul a lot. But I think I still prefer my idea, which is like have a customizable Bond. It's a game. It's the only time you're going to get a chance to do that. So I think it would be a shame for them not to take advantage of that. But if they do pick a name, I would be happy for it to be him.
The other name I had that I was thinking about was, I think Charlie Cox would be a really, really cool like video game Bond. I don't think he'd ever be a good would ever be a movie Bond, but I'm just playing clear, obscure, and seeing what he can do with voice acting. Of like, just put this man in everything. But I think it'll be Raoul. Okay, Lauren, your second prediction.
Okay. This could hinge on a couple of things, like about whether there is a PlayStation State of Play. But I think that, and I think I made this prediction at the beginning of the year in some way, shape, or form, but I think we're seeing Wolverine at the showcase and that it will finally get a release date. I've been stewing a while on the idea that it's around about the right time for Insomniac to release a new game, depending on whether the hacks impacted them as much as it seemed. But this is around about the right year for it, and that Spider-Man 2 wasn't really announced or confirmed until around this time in the year that it was released. So I think it's definitely feasible that Wolverine's announced now and still has enough time to be marketed and released by the end of the year. So I think
You
if they
think
are going
it's
to do that,
this year?
yeah, based on my theory. Because really, like again, after Ghost of Yote, PlayStation has that free kind of slot right at the end of the year, particularly with GTA out of the picture now. So I think they could take advantage by like having a big Insomniac game. And if it's not this, it's probably Venom or whatever the other thing is. But I still think it's Wolverine because it's just been so long since we've heard of anything, and we know that they're still working on it and they'll get to it in their own time. But I know that they can do it based on Spider-Man 2. So that's what I hope. I hope we finally find out something.
It was announced at the same state of play as Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man
That's
2
nice.
again came out later that year.
hmm
Yeah.
Oh no, I think it was a year. Like I think there was 1 year around because I think it was like September, and then because there was like a state of play, and then there was an E3 mission showcase where we got them doing the like chasing the lizard,
Mm,
and then it came. So it was like less than 12 months.
yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. But I've given, and we talked about it a few times, like Insomniac's track record of putting out games. This is kind of an anomaly for them, given their past couple years that like they haven't released a game like soon after Spider-Man 2. So yeah, like that November slot is open, and I could see them wanting to fill that. I could, yeah, I'd love it. I mean, I would love for Insomniac to release a game. I'm just like so. Uh, I'm just such a like given like how much like we just talked about Marathon, but like in flux PlayStation seems to be. I'm just so like it's hard to see through the weeds in what they're going to release. But yeah, I could see this happening. If not that, then maybe an early 26 release date before GTA 6 comes out, because yeah, then we have Intergalactic probably next year. Um, yeah, fingers crossed. I think it'd be. I
What
think
about
it'd be really
fair games,
cool.
Tom? We got to get fair games out there.
Oh man, I should have.
They
I should
dropped
have
the
said
money
fair
sign.
game. Should have said fair games wasn't going to show up the state of play. I feel like that was a bigger.
Oh.
Oh god.
Well, now's your chance, Tom. Your second prediction. You could talk about fair games right here, right now.
Okay, guys, back to back. We're going fair games. I'm going to stick
They're
to my
bringing
guns.
back the money sign in the logo.
That's the big reveal. Oh my god. Not to make this discussion totally Marvel based, but I'm going to talk about another Marvel game. And I'm going to talk about the one that's been in the works at Xbox, which is Blade at Arcane.
I
Ooh,
had forgotten about that.
Yeah.
yeah.
It does feel like it was a while ago, right? I don't know. I just have a good feeling that it's time. Maybe it's not this year. Maybe it's next year. But I think we're gonna see something. Deathloop was 21, and from what I saw, it seems like development on Blade started shortly after that. Obviously, they had Redfall in the kind of interim on that. So my thinking is that that probably definitely impacted like how Blade was coming along in terms of its development. But I don't know, I just feel like it's time. Obviously the movie is kind of on the rocks right now, probably not gonna happen if I had to put a flag in where I stand on that. But I think it would be nice to get the the Blade thing happening. Obviously Blade was in Deadpool and Wolverine, like, but I think the world's ready for Blade to come back, and I think I just really want to see what they do with it in terms of like its stealth um, approach to Blade, and the fact that it's also going to be third person. Like they were Arcane is very known for like being first person with like Dishonored and stuff. So just seeing how they bring it together with this, I think would be cool. So
Are you saying we see gameplay?
I think showing off with gameplay at the Xbox showcase, yeah.
I didn't think about Blade for a second. I just wrote about Blade over on the direct.com in an article about all the superhero games coming out, and I should have thought about Blade because I think you got this.
Okay.
I think this will be the big reveal that
Yeah.
they are like, hey, guess what? They could open with it. Like I think that they could start with Blade, show off gameplay, and then have some other thing we don't know about it for the very end. But yeah, I don't know if it comes out this year.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's a next year game.
2026. Sure.
Yeah.
I hope it's true. I'm really excited for this. Like, played all of except for Prey because that's scary. But I played all of Arcane's games, and the blending of Blade with their studio's mentality just seems so perfect to me. Also, vampires so hot right now. We've just had Sinners. Like, I want more. So this could be like a good time to do that.
Could Michael B. Jordan be in Blade? I don't think he is Blade, but
could Mahershala Ali be in Blade?
Oh, that would be
if a
wild
Mahershala
twist.
Ali Blade game came out before the Blade movie, people may riot.
Maybe that's why the movie's not happening, because they need him for the game.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm a gamer first. I'm sorry. Like, I got other commitments.
Oh man.
Okay. I don't know what I want to do here. I've got some. Usually on one of these, I bring up a specific 3D platformer, but I think I'm going to talk about a different specific 3D platformer today. I think we're going to see Toys for Bob's new game, and I think it's Spyro.
Ooh.
They they
At the Summer Games Fest show.
I don't know. I like genuinely have no idea. I think it would either be Summer Games Fest or the Xbox Showcase. I'm gonna say the Games Fest kickoff.
Because they're independent now,
Because
right?
they're independent now.
Yeah.
However, Spyro is an Xbox property.
Mm.
Um, they went independent, I think, a little over a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago at this point, and everything they've been teasing has talked about horns and like it's all purple branding, and but
Mhm.
they've been very cryptic about what they're actually doing. I think it's time we see the game, and I think it has to be Spyro.
Do you think it's like a fully new game, or is it going to be
Yeah,
another?
I think
Yeah.
it's a fully new Spyro game.
Yeah, I would. I mean, platforms are back. I mean, Astrobot proved it. That they can do well and they can be amazing. Yeah, I'd love to see Spyro come back. I haven't played the trilogy remastered collection that they released, but um, I think we need our mascot platforms back. I think it'd be so cool.
Elijah Wood can voice him again. Remember that, Lauren?
Yeah, I do, unfortunately. I obviously want this to be true as a big Spyro fan. Like, even if it's whatever they do, if it's Crash or Spyro or something, I'm going to be excited about it. It would be nice to know what they're working on. I just, for some reason, I don't know if it's too soon.
I
Because
don't
we're
think this
seeing,
game is near in any way. Like they can announce it, and I think it's probably a 2027 game at this point.
but I'm
But just
so
saying
over
he's
that.
back.
Like, I'm so over studios, like, because like we've just talked about with Black Panther, with Wonder Woman, these studios saying like we're making this, and then it just doesn't happen. Like, I can't get excited about that anymore. So I really hope that the studios are starting to learn of like announce something when it is ready, not when you think it might happen someday in the future in another world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
maybe they can
it's time.
announce like they announce it's happening, and then they're like, "But guys, don't worry, we're not going to leave you hanging. Spyro is also coming to Fortnite, so you can play with Spyro in Fortnite, and it's going to be great." So,
Is he on all fours or is he standing upright with an AK?
oh god, I didn't even consider that. Maybe he's like rideable. He's like a
Or he's
rideable
holding the
mount.
gun in his mouth?
Okay, yeah, I could. There could be some unique gameplay aspects there.
Hmm.
A lot of ways I could do.
Crash
A
got
lot
his
of ways
time
I
in the
could go.
sun. Bring back the purple dragon, okay? We got to do it. It's got to happen. Lauren, it's time for your third prediction.
All right, I have a bit of maybe an out there prediction. And it's not entirely game related, but Summer Games Fest has sometimes done previews for adaptations and things that are in the video game world still. And there's a little show that we haven't seen anything from for a while. It's the Among Us animated TV show. And I believe it's coming out this year from everything that they're talking about. So I want to see a new trailer, show me what the show actually is, and tell us when it's coming out and where it's coming out. Like, I don't believe they've partnered with a streamer for this, have they? Um, is it just a YouTube show? I have no idea. But anyway, tell me more.
I thought you were going a different direction, but I I think you nailed this. Jeff has a relationship with them. Like, wasn't it Game Awards last year that we got some of like
Yeah,
the
the Inner
cast
Sloth.
announcements? So yeah, book it.
Well, Inner Sloth did
This.
their initiative at the Game Awards, I think, about supporting new game studios. That was them, wasn't it?
When? Who?
Inner Sloth, the company.
Yeah, they did something like that. Yeah,
Yes, I was thinking about the Blumhouse thing from last year at SGF.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah,
That
similar
was.
initiative, but not quite the same. Like that,
Mhm.
they're supporting a bunch of indie games, but they do
hmm
have this TV show on the side.
yeah. I think this would be. It'd be funny if they just like shadow dropped in like guys, and it's on HBO Max right now, and you
Do
can
we know
watch
what
it
this show
all.
looks like animation wise? Have we seen anything?
They've released, from what I can
Like a
see here, like
title
a
trailer.
yeah. They've also got like this background. I can drop it in the Slack, but it's like a background kind of design of what the ship looks like. So it kind of gives you a vibe. It looks like it's going to be 2D animated from what I can tell. But yeah, I wonder how. I just wonder like how they're going to turn this into a show. Like if it's
It's
going to
going
be
to be
like
a murder mystery, Tom. That's what
I
it's going to
guess
be.
so. I just wonder how they're going to frame it. Like, is there going to be like one central kind of detective character? Is there going to be like a Daniel Craig-esque fellow trying to suss out everyone? I don't know. But it could be a cute little show. I think we'll definitely talk about it on the show when it comes out. Yeah, I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
Okay, so it's for CBS Studios, which means it'll probably go
Okay.
on
Paramount?
to
Paramount.
Paramount.
Yeah,
But still,
makes sense.
it's
Hey,
fine.
they only make good video game adaptations on Paramount Plus.
That's right.
That's
Knuckles,
true.
Twisted
Halo.
Metal, Halo.
Twisted Metal is Peacock, I think.
You're right. Sorry. Knuckles, Halo.
Knuckles again.
That's 2 for 2 in my books. Okay. Tom, give us your third.
Okay, I'm also gonna go the video game adaptation route.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not for. Maybe this is. I don't know. This might be a little bit out there, but so looking back, I was looking at a movie that was on the way, and it seems like the timing would be right for these casting announcements to be made. I'm of course talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie 2. Or Super Mario World, what they're calling the movie, maybe. I think we're gonna get some casting announcements at the end of whatever Switch Nintendo Direct they have. They did that randomly like when it
I
was
remember.
it was about 2 years before the movie came out, that they announced casting. And we're basically a year or less than a year out from the second movie, and we haven't got any like significant
Is
casting
that
details of new characters.
is that true? What? Really?
Yeah,
It comes
it's
out
coming out
next
next
year?
year. I think so. It's 26. I'm gonna
I
fact check
can't
that so I
believe
don't look
I'm just shocked. I can't
weird.
believe we haven't heard Danny DeVito is Wario or whatever.
Yeah. Why is it not coming out? Why is the I typed in Super Mario Brothers 2 and it came up with the game. Yeah, it's 26. So it
That's
is next
wild.
year. Gear up, guys. It's gonna be a wild ride. So it's probably gonna be the craziest casting announcement you can imagine. Like we got for the first
That
movie,
first
but
Oh my gosh. That first cast announcement is one of the most confounding like 20 minutes I've ever experienced.
I was losing my mind at like whatever. It was like very early in the morning when I was watching that direct. I was like, "This is
Keegan
I'm having
Michael
a fever
Key
dream.
is
This is
Toad. Like what is
and
happening?
is it Charlie Day is Luigi?" But I'm gonna say yeah. I don't know what characters are gonna be in it. Maybe it's Yoshi. I mean, I'm assuming we're seeing Yoshi. Based on the post credits, Wario, Waluigi, Daisy, maybe. But do you guys have any hot casting predictions for any potential characters that could come along in the movie?
Danny DeVito's
Characters?
Wario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Characters. I'm so
Koopa
not
Kid.
versed. The cow. I want to see the cow.
The cow. Who do you want to voice the cow?
Ooh, good question.
Charlie XCX.
Yes, good.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I could see that
Done.
happening. That'd be cool. Lock it in. She could do well, she has worked with Super Nintendo World in the past, so there's that Nintendo relationship. She could do it. I would love to see, and I know this has been talked about online, I'd love to see Pedro Pascal as Wario and Diego Luna as Waluigi. I think that would
Nice.
be a great double bill.
I was going to throw in Oscar Isaac as well because those
Okay.
three. Yeah.
Oscar Isaac as Baby Bowser.
Oh
Or
my
Bowser
God.
Jr.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling he'll be in the movie, so they need someone. Oscar's got the chops. He could do it. He's got that. He can do accents. He does the "Hello, I'm a little British man" on Moon Knight. He could do
He's
it,
Frankenstein or Dr.
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay, we go to my third prediction. I have a fun PlayStation 1. I have a fun Xbox One. I would like to do Xbox. I don't know if you guys saw the report this week, but Xbox handheld has been sidelined. They're putting it on hold. Not happening. But you want to know what
Oh.
is happening and will happen and is going to happen at some point during the Xbox showcase? They're going to talk about the next gen Xbox, and they're going to it's going to be very theoretical. They're not going to show anything. they're just going to have a bunch of developers on screen talking about how powerful this thing is, and it's the biggest leap in console generation history. And they're going to say at the end, next Xbox or whatever the code name is, 2027.
Oh, that's bold.
It's going to be like
Yeah, I'm
project
inclined to say you're crazy.
blah blah blah. I don't know what have we learned from Xbox this generation. They're failing. Like this is the consoles. They have lost this generation. There's been so much talk about them trying to move faster than PlayStation and get the next thing out before PlayStation does. I think that we're going to get a next gen Xbox sooner than later. The fact that these handheld plans have been pushed back and moved aside, I think makes way for whatever this next Xbox is called. And yeah, it's just going to be like Phil Spencer and a bunch of devs. And they did this with the Xbox, I guess, Series X. And before that, the mid-gen refresh, years before the mid-gen refresh happened, where it's just like talking to people at Bethesda and Arcane and all these people going like, oh my gosh, it's so powerful. It's the biggest and best thing. We love this. It's going to be so easy to develop for. I think that we see this in the middle here. I think that Xbox, even though they are very much a Game Pass brand, they still want people excited about the hardware. So, yeah, next gen Xbox 2027. This would be like Project Cookie or whatever.
What do you think the like USP or like the unique selling point is going to be for like the next? Do you think
it's going to be
just
power? Like
just power, raw power? Do you think that's enough?
I don't. People? I think it could. In like, I don't. Could it be a hybrid?
Maybe.
Like the Switch.
Maybe that's the. Maybe
could it be a stick? Like it just like a streaming thing.
I think that honestly could almost be like a better angle,
because they could do that where it's like, this is the most powerful Xbox ever, and it's because you have the power of 100 Xboxes at your disposal at any given time because it's 100% cloud based.
Ooh, that would be a gamble, like because we've seen like in, I mean, it's not the same thing, but like with Lawrence talked about PlayStation Portal and how that was like very, you needed like really good Wi-Fi for that to work. So I wonder, like in those kind of areas where internet isn't as obviously it's like it's getting a lot better around like globally, but I wonder how they could make that consistent like across the board. So it would definitely be a very bold move for them to just go all in on cloud and like try to rely on that, because I'm not sure if, I mean, like for me personally, like I like the idea of being able to like not have to rely on the internet. Like I like being able to play like offline if I need to, or if like if the Wi-Fi goes out, which sometimes happens, I can't play on my Xbox. Like that sucks. So I wonder like if they would do that. I could see it happening, to be fair. Like I think that could be the move, but
what if the big selling point is it can boot Steam, or like it can boot other marketplaces? Like it's just an easy to use PC.
It's just a PC. I mean, that could be tempting. I mean, like, because I've always wanted to get into PC gaming, but it's like obviously like consoles are also expensive, but PC gaming is also like pretty. I would say like difficult to as an entry point, if like as an outsider looking in. If they make it very accessible to access those games and access that marketplace, I could see that like working, especially for someone like me. I wonder if they would do like, because obviously a lot of Steam games are reliant on like mouse controls. They could do like a mouse controller similar to what the Switch 2 is doing. That would get me on board. I don't know if it would get everyone else on board though.
I think that predicting what the next gen Xbox and PlayStation are is probably its own show. I think you're a year early with this, to be honest.
Like you think it's
the prediction? I think is a year
thing.
Early. Yeah, okay. I think 2027 console release. They'll tease it next year, not this year. But we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see this Sunday when it happens. Just know.
It's documented.
Phil Spencer is like, well, we're done talking about the present. It's time to talk about the future.
Oh man!
I'll jump up and do my little dance. Okay, Lauren Rouse, your final prediction.
Um, really only have kind of trailer slash release date ideas here or games that we're going to see. But I think, yeah, like I was saying, Xbox kind of doesn't have a clear indication of what's coming in the rest of the year. And we know that they're definitely having a showcase where I think they'll outline some of those things. Fable well, the new Fable has been consistently teased at these things without really indicating any new information. And I think it's time now to reveal what this game is and when it's coming out. And I think it is probably this year, optimistically. I think that's maybe their big thing at the end of the year.
Interesting. I saw somewhere like I don't know if this was like fully confirmed whether it was maybe a next year game, but I'm trying to find the okay. So in February 25th of this year, head of Xbox Game Studios Craig Duncan announced that the launch of the game was moved to 2026. So apparently it's next year.
Regardless, we're going to see it.
Yeah, I think
But
I
I
think
think
that
that's
I think it's
coming
time
up.
to put a date on it. Let's be real.
yeah.
I think there might be another like Xbox game that is waiting in the wings for this year, and then this will be. I think that Fable
Is
is
that your
actually.
prediction?
Hmm?
Is that going to be your prediction, or can we talk about it?
Tom, are you going to predict an Xbox game that comes out later this year? No.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
I think that Gears of War E-Day has leapfrogged Fable. Like I think that it was so far
Yeah.
ahead that they are like, we will put it at the end of this year and push like Fable needs more time, push it there. And it was like maybe Fable needed that extra time, maybe it didn't, but it was just like a happy coincidence that like, okay, like this makes sense to move Fable into like March or something and have Gears of War be their big November, December, October game.
I think it would make sense to see both of those projects at this showcase, but I
Yeah.
still think that
I think we
Fable
will.
just keep
I
showing up.
agree with this prediction.
Yeah.
Just keep showing up with no real new information. Like we're still waiting on gameplay, aren't we? Or like
seem
some
like-
more significant
Like
gameplay.
Glimpses, yeah.
Yeah. No. I think this makes sense. Like, I think they need to kind of outline what they've got for the rest of the year and going into next year. So I think it makes sense for them to, if my prediction's true as well, like I think Gears of War, Blade, and Fable, those are some like three big heavy hitters that I think would, like big like good showcases at this showcase. But yeah, I do just want to see what they have in store of this because they've got Elder Scrolls 6 on the way sometime.
One
We
day.
don't know when.
Talk about things announced too soon.
Yeah, honestly. So
The
I think
same
like
day
an
as
RPG.
Starfield.
That's like
when
you say
it
that
was
it's like
announced.
that's actually insane to think about who did that. Can you like oh my god. But yeah, like a big RPG like Fable, I think, is kind of needed from Xbox at this point to fill in that gap of no Elder Scrolls for at least probably 2 or 3 years at this point. So yeah, I think this makes sense. I think we'll see Fable.
Okay, Tom Drew, your last prediction.
Alrighty. I think I'm gonna go. Well, this is my Summer Games Fest showcase prediction, I guess, because it's just a wild card game. I had a couple listed down here that could be shown. Maybe we could talk about honorable mentions at the very end, but I think we're gonna see something from the next Tomb Raider game.
Damn it! Oh, you took it right out from under me. Oh no!
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay. I want to hear your Tomb Raider pitch.
Okay, I was just well, I don't have much to say, but I feel like they've been really pushing for Lara Croft in a lot of other things that I feel like it's time. Like she's appearing in all these collabs with different games. She has this like new design which people are calling the like unified Lara Croft, which is like the kind of bridge between the reboot and the original games. It just feels like it's time. We've heard so little about what they're actually working on. Obviously, there's that like Prime Video Tomb Raider show that's who knows what's
Maybe
happening
dead.
with that. Yeah, I'm not sure
And
if
there's
that's
the
going to happen
Sophie
at this
Turner
point.
thing that
Yeah,
we don't know is happening.
we don't know if that's real or not. I'm not sure, but I think Tomb Raider needs to come back at this point. So I would love to see her, and I think I just have a feeling it'll show up. Because it's been too long, it really has.
Yeah, that was going to be my prediction, and I was going to say that it was going to include something that's like more fantastical than the last trilogy. Like it
Yeah.
would have like her fighting a dinosaur or something. Like it is going to harken back to, maybe not go as far as some of the original Tomb Raider games went, but like will include more fantastical elements than the grounded modern trilogy, even though those also included weird fantastical elements too. But I mean more like shooting a dinosaur in the head.
So what's different about this new Tomb Raider? I know they finished the trilogy. It's the same studio, right?
Same
Square Enix is
studio, Crystal
still.
Dynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are they saying is different about this one? That it's
A
a
new vision
it's a
is what they've said.
sequel to both sort of collections, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it just kind of like it's following on from the reboot stuff, but kind of leading into the what the
Right.
original games were in a way. So it's kind of in the middle of those. So
Gotcha.
I think it's going to have those kind of elements of the grounded stuff, but like Klein's saying, maybe leaning into dinosaurs or a whole host of like different creatures or whatever. So I don't really know what that looks like. What that vision is. Maybe it's open world Tomb Raider. I'm not sure, but
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just
We
interested to
kind of
see what
got
they
open
have.
world Tomb Raider in the last two.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of.
guess there was. Yeah, I haven't played the third of those reboot games, but
Oh, Rise is so good.
yeah, right. Yeah, was the second one Rise or third one Rise?
Second one's
Which one?
Rise.
Yeah, Rise is great. If you haven't played, was it? I can't remember the name of the third one.
Shadow.
Shadow.
Shadow. Yeah, I need to play that one, but yeah, I'm just interested to see what they do with it.
I'm always here for a new Lara Croft game, so that would be nice to see them bring that. I know that Square Enix is on the list of partners, so
Hmm.
everyone's sort of speculating on what they'll bring. Maybe we'll have that in
I don't
honorable
know if
mentions. I don't
Square's
know.
involved in that franchise anymore. Like I think
Is it
it's
not?
just, I don't think so. For
Oh,
some reason I think Crystal Dynamics was bought.
Oh, isn't it
oh,
Embracer
by
Group?
the
Or
Embrace Group.
they've been renamed to something else now as
Oh,
well.
are they a part of the Lord of the Rings and Friends collective or whatever they
Yes.
call it?
Right.
Yeah.
All those legacy names.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But from memory, the new Tomb Raider thing they've been teasing is kind of still recent, isn't it? Didn't they kind of only outline it last year, what they were doing?
Yeah, they kind of teased it like they're working on something. So it could be that it's still like early in development at this point. I kind of hope not. I hope they are further along than that, but
Yeah. It would be nice to just have an
yeah.
update of what the status quo is in
Yeah.
any way.
Hmm.
Okay. We move to the last prediction of the show. Well, other than our honorable mentions. And I'm stumped. You took the Tomb. I was gonna just do the Tomb Raider and finish this off, but now I'm confused and it's a little scared, honestly.
I
Just a
did.
prediction.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well, because I did the Xbox one, and I knew that was gonna be like you were all gonna look at me like, "Oh my god, that's crazy," and then the Tomb Raider was gonna be like, "Oh yeah, just the layup." So now I'm just conflicted of what to do. I have no PlayStation mention on here, which I think
Mm.
I just don't know if they're gonna do anything.
Go on, fair games. Just say
Yeah,
it.
Quick
Just say
Game's a
it.
good game. Come on.
We know you want to say
Okay,
fair
here we
games. Come
go.
on.
Here we go. Here we go. We are talking about PlayStation. An Uncharted project of some sort will be announced. It is Naughty
Oh my
Dog's
god.
secret second game.
Hmm. I did wonder if we would talk about the secret second game, which I'm hopeful for that it will be revealed. But
I
unless
think
there's a
it's
state of play, I
smaller.
don't buy it.
I think it is a smaller thing. I think it's going to come at State of Play, and I think this game is. I'm going to say an Uncharted thing because I don't want to put myself into a corner, but I think it's a remake of the first game.
Oh,
Because
Oh.
why?
there's been talk of that remake forever. I remember, 2021, they were talking about an Uncharted remake that was in development at Bend. Yes, Days Gone Studio. And Naughty Dog did not like how that there was a bunch of drama, did not like how that was going, and reportedly took it internally. And that was the last we heard about it. I think an Uncharted remake could happen this year, and I think it could be announced this year, and I think it could come out this year. But this could also be just like a new Uncharted thing. Like that game could have been reimagined.
This
Yeah.
is the studio that's remastered The Last of Us about 20 times, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, let's also remaster our other major franchise.
I think
Yeah.
Um,
the first game specifically could use not just a remaster, but like this is a remake. we are redoing Uncharted 1 in the style of Uncharted 4, in the style of The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, because they did remaster the first 3, right? That's what we've been playing on.
Yeah,
my
it
PS
wasn't
Plus.
Naughty Dog that did it, but yeah, there is a remastered 60 frame version out there. That was Blue Point did those.
Right.
Yeah. I really hope it's not a remaster because that would be a shame if that slot and Naughty Dog is taken by that. If it was a new game in the Uncharted like universe, I think that would be a lot more exciting. But yeah, I don't know if it's just I don't know if they would want to take away from what Intergalactic is like gonna do later on. But like the only way I see them wanting to do that with a new game is if it was like a remaster or whatever. But I don't know.
Naughty Dog has had 2 games announced at the same time. We had Uncharted: The Lost Legacy coming out, and then they were showing it off at showcases, and then at one showcase they did Lost Legacy, and then at the end they did The Last of Us Part 2. So it wouldn't be like unprecedented. Uncharted 3 and The Last of Us, they were revealed very like right as Uncharted 3 was coming out. I guess The Last of Us was revealed, so that but they've had 2 games like going at once. And this game, this secret second game or whatever, Neil has said like it's nice to just be a consultant. I am checking in. I'm an executive on that team. I'm not actually like participating. And to me, that sounds like I don't want to say this isn't one of the big things, but like it doesn't require Neil's eyes. And so something Uncharted to me would make sense.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, I don't know. My
Yeah.
only thing with that is that they refer to it sounds like whatever it is a thing, and maybe potentially not just because like they made all these remasters, remakes of The Last of Us without it being kind of referred to as like an internal project, you know? Like they just kind of came out. There was no big like secrecy
But what
around
if
what's
it's
this
like
thing they're working on.
a remake, like Final Fantasy VII remake? Like, what if it's like essentially an entirely new game?
So a new Uncharted game,
But no, but
not a remake.
I'm saying anything Uncharted just for the record. But
Yeah,
if
right.
it were a remake, what if it was a full scale from the ground up remake that I would consider that as like a big internal project, not just they've only really done remasters for like The Last of Us.
Well, part 1 and 2, the PS5 ones are remakes technically, is what they've said, remade from the ground up. But unless it's the Final Fantasy version thing you're talking about, which I don't even know what you call that, a reboot.
It's a
remake.
Like
But yeah,
I think that the first Uncharted game would require a lot of modernization of like the core systems to make it feel more modern.
Yeah,
Whereas like
which
the
we know, having
Uncharted
played.
Part 1 and 2, they're a lot prettier, but they didn't really tweak a lot of the like really any of the core gameplay. It is ultimately the same game.
Yeah, I remember when we played part 1, like the remaster again, it did feel like it still felt like the original version of the game. Not to say it felt like bad or anything. It just felt like it was kind of a PS3 kind of era mode of like shooting and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I do see where you're coming from because I remember when you played Uncharted, like the first one, some of the some of the systems and the gunplay and stuff are just kind of they're not as refined as those later games, and it would be nice to fix some of that in a way. But at the same time, I still hope it's something new, something we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I have hope that if their secret project is Uncharted, it is something new Uncharted, not remake. But if it is a remake of the first 1, 2, or 3, or all of them together, it would be the most Naughty Dog thing to happen.
This is Tom Holland game. This is the Tom Holland era
Yeah, Mark
Uncharted game.
Wahlberg. Hell yeah,
Bundled
sure.
with the
Let's do it.
movie.
Hell
Okay, those are our predictions. Do we have any honorable mentions we want to throw out there?
The big ones that I had here, I think we're probably gonna see Resident Evil 9. I think it's time. Since Village came out 2021, so it's been a couple of years. I think we're due for a new Resident Evil. And then the other big one was Bioshock. I wonder if we're gonna see Bioshock.
I always throw that in as a joke, and I had it here on my list as a joke as well. But I'm like, at this point, I'm such a clown about it. Like, I'm over it.
Yeah. This is the new Silk Song.
It has to happen eventually.
They're
I
working on
Exactly.
predict it every
something.
time. One of them will be true.
Yeah. So fingers crossed.
I had written down that Master Chief Collection would be announced for Switch 2 and PS5.
Mm.
I had Star Wars Eclipse
Hmm.
trailer maybe
Okay.
Yeah, I
re-revealed
had that
after
too.
so long. And then Injustice 3, and it was somehow tie into the DCU, like whether that
Ooh.
includes like skins from Superman or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also. No, you go ahead.
No, just because I could see that. Like, Injustice 3 feels also like an overdue game. Like, I feel like we've kind of heard rumblings
Well,
about it
especially
for
with
so
like
long.
Mortal Kombat did not hit the way that they wanted it to hit, and they have sunsetted it earlier than I think they were going to.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, adding to that, I wanted an update on Clockwork Revolution, which is a game I'm quite invested in from Xbox, but I haven't heard anything from, I think, for about 2 years. So I thought that would hopefully have an update at the Xbox showcase. And then maybe, I don't know, some kind of Hades release date, Hades 2 release date. Just putting it out there. I don't know.
I think so.
It'll come one day.
I think so. I mean, like, it was announced that it was going to be a Switch 2, you know, like, well, Switch 1 and Switch 2, like, console exclusive. So I think a release date is imminent. I think we're going
What
to
if
get
it's just preloaded on every Switch?
And I'm
Every
Every
buying one.
Switch 2, you open the
Like
box and it's just there. It's like Wii Sports.
It's like the U2 album on everyone's iPod back in the
Then
day.
everyone loved that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a match made in heaven. Let's do it.
So those are SGF predictions. You can watch us live stream all the festivities coming up this weekend. If you have any predictions, you can let us know over on social media, where you can also chime in on our New Game Plus Video Game Book Club Game of the Month. For the month of June, we are playing, Lauren, it's your game, so you get to introduce it. What are we playing?
I'm so excited about this because even though Klein and I share the same birthday, I've just demanded that this is my birthday gift to play this game. We're going to play Sly 2, Band of Thieves, which is the second Sly Cooper game. We all played number 1 last year, which I was excited about to finally. This is like my version of Uncharted, like Klein's Uncharted is making you guys play Sly games. So famously, number 2 is my favorite, and I'm very excited to see what we think of it at the end of the month.
So we'll be playing that all through the month of June, but that's not all we've been playing. So we'll take this part of the show. We'll jump in. What have we been playing over the last little bit? Because you'd mentioned Sly 2, I will quickly do mine because I know the two of you have been itching to talk about Doom. We might have a problem. Sly Cooper 2 makes me incredibly motion sick. Incredibly motion sick. I don't know why. It's
Wait, what?
I cannot figure out what it is. I don't know if it's the emulation I'm using on the PS5 or if like I've stretched it to be widescreen. I don't know. I looked online and apparently Sly 1 doesn't have this issue, but Sly 2 and 3 incorporate a whole lot of motion blur that you just can't turn off. And that might be doing it. I was worried that I'm like, oh, is this a gaming thing? And then I went and played Call of Duty, which is like you're moving around quite fast in first person. Fine. I can play like 40 minutes at a time with Sly, and then I need to lie down for about the length that I played.
Oh my god.
How interesting.
I know. I've started it though, and I'm a few hours in. But yeah,
This is no reflection on the quality of the game.
no, not at all. Like I, I will not let it taint my experience in any way. But it's making me want to play it less because I'm sitting there
Jeez.
going, "Oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna throw up," and I don't know why.
I mean,
Oh
it
my
jumped
God.
from No, Sly was PS2
It
as well.
didn't.
I'm trying to figure out what is different about this. You've like changed is it like the camera controls?
Yeah, so
You've
everything
changed
I've
those?
fiddled around. I've inverted camera. I've uninverted it. I have used like PlayStation on PS5. There's different aspect ratios you can use. I
Mhm.
was like, is it a field of view thing because I've turned it into widescreen, like stretched the image? Am I like seeing like there's things moving on my periphery maybe that is bugging me? So I put it down to just like 4:3. Same thing. I don't know what it is. I've noticed this with a few games lately. Like I've been playing some like GameCube Tony Hawk games, and some of them I don't have this issue, but other ones I can only play for like half an hour, and I'm like, I feel really motion sick right now, and I don't know why. I've never had this problem. I've gamed my whole life, so yeah,
So it's a you problem.
it's a me problem. It's not a Sly Cooper 2 problem. I did look online though, and there was like Reddit threads with I don't want to say hundreds of responses, but maybe like 100 responses of people being like, "Yep, I've had this issue with Sly 2 and 3.
Interesting. I've yet to start it, so I wonder if that will affect me as well. I'm sorry this happened. That's really
Yeah.
sad.
I will finish it. Like I'm glad that I figured it out now as opposed to on June 20th or like June 25th, right at the end of the month when we were like days away from talking about it, because now I can pace myself and just say, okay, I can play for half an hour at a time, turn it off, and be okay.
Just take some motion sickness tablets before a gaming session.
That's a good idea.
Maybe
didn't
that'll
think
work.
about
I wonder
that,
if that
but
will
maybe.
work.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could.
Stay tuned.
The other game I will quickly shout out because I bought into the hype. I started Death Stranding. I don't know if it's for me, but gosh, it's so vibey. Like the opening of the game, the music, like there's music playing, you're in this incredibly lush, beautiful environment, and then you're just walking, playing delivery man. It's bizarre, and I don't know if I enjoy the actual game, but I enjoy everything about the game. Like the music and the graphics and the characters and the bizarre story that's just throwing like 30 nouns at you that mean nothing to you, but you just like have to understand it. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to finish it, but I did want to try it because I hadn't tried it before.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt when I've only played like the first couple hours. I feel like I want to go back though. But it's just it is such a vibe. Like you go in, you're introduced to all these weird characters with name cards, like Die Hard Man and all these crazy characters. Guillermo del Toro's there. Like it's just wild. And then you go into like your room and you can chug Mountain Dew and all this. It's crazy. Like saying all of that, like it sounds like it's a crazy game, but
A
it
lot
is
of the
good feeling.
gameplay is you climbing up hills and just walking, but like because that is the gameplay, you're literally like using the buttons to balance, which I didn't realize. It's
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
you're kind of like left heavy or whatever. You're gonna fall that way, so hold R2 to balance yourself out. Oh no, now your baby's crying, so pause and open up this menu where you pull out the baby and you like move the controller around to soothe the baby from crying. It's weird.
It's so crazy, but yeah, I do want to go back to it because yeah, Death Stranding 2's it's on the horizon, so I kind of want to get a more of a sense of the first game before. I probably won't play 2 at launch or anything like that, but I want to
It's too
understand it
late.
a little bit more.
The reason I decided to start is like I had no intention of ever seeing the end of it, and right now I'm in Switch 2 mode. I'm like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not starting anything until the Switch 2 shows up because I that's going to dominate my time. Once I have Mario Kart, that'll be it.
yeah. It'll be over.
Now we go to you two. You've waited patiently for a couple of weeks. Here we are. What have you been playing over the last 2 weeks, Tom and Lauren?
Yeah, so we've both been playing a little game called Doom: The Dark Ages, which is a prequel to Doom 2016, and kind of sees the Doom Slayer in this kind of new environment where everything's kind of medieval themed. You got a shield with a chainsaw like wrapped around it, and all these cool weapons and stuff. And yeah, we played a little bit of it, and we're gonna talk about it, I guess. So Lauren, I'll go right to you. How much have you played, and what have you kind of thought about Doom so far? Because this is your first kind of introduction to Doom as well.
Yeah, it is. Apart from kind of watching the original Doom, like my dad play it, I've never played a Doom game myself. Um, but the promise of what we were getting in Doom: The Dark Ages just like too much fun to deny. And I do have an Xbox and Xbox Game Pass, so I was like, all right, let's give this a try, and I'm in. It's so much fun. I'm only
Yes.
about 5 or 6 chapters in at this point, so still early.
Okay.
I was surprised to see how long it is. I know some of the chapters
Mm.
vary in length, but I think it's like I'm like 5 out of 25 or something like that. So I'm excited that this is going to be like a lengthy ordeal because I'm having so much fun playing it and I don't want it to end. But yeah, as someone who didn't play the other Doom games, I instantly was like, I should play the other Doom games. So I bought them on sale, and they're waiting for me once I finish this as I play in chronological order as God intended. And yeah, so Tom, can you tell me, like, I know that each of these newer Doom games have like a specific gameplay element that makes them unique. And like with Doom: The Dark Ages, it's the shield and like sort of blocking and parrying attacks. What is it with the other two?
Yeah, so in Doom 2016, I would say it feels like these other two games, but a little bit more stripped back. There isn't like from what I can recall, like an overwhelming gimmick. There is like the kind of balancing between the gunplay and then the kind of melee combat, which you kind of have to balance. But it's more so focused on just like uh, you're playing Doom, you're shooting guys and whatever. In the second game, there's a bit more of like instead of a shield, you have a sword, and there's kind of a things you can do with the sword that kind of shake up the gameplay a little bit. I would say this is kind of the most it's kind of shook things up a bit because of the parry element. There isn't really any sense of that in those other games. So to me, at least, I feel like this is kind of shaking things up the most with what you can do with the shield, which is a bit more than I thought because you can kind of block with the shield, you can throw the shield at enemies, and you can also use it as like a traversal kind of thing where you have a shield bash. Which is what I kind of the big thing that I took away from it is like how much fun it is to move around in this game. I feel like this game is a lot faster paced compared to the other ones. Like the other two are very. There's a lot of they're
Really,
momentum driven, and
Eternal I
they.
thought was super fast. Like I thought
It
Eternal you got like
is.
the grappling hook and stuff. There's a lot of like
Oh, there is the
platforming.
grappling hook, which I did forget about. There is more platforming in Eternal. But with this, because the maps are so much more open, I feel like they've ramped up the momentum more so you can traverse these kind of worlds a bit more. And because of the shield, you can like bounce off of enemies a lot better, which just feels amazing. Like smashing demons with your shield and shooting them with the different guns you get. It adds so much elements, so many different elements to it, especially when you have the parry, which is a massive part of this. And I was surprised how much it is a part of it because each enemy has like these green attacks which you can block and parry with your shield, and it just adds so much like I guess the word is like micromanaging of like how you go about your encounters, which I just think is so much fun because there is so much chaos and you're having to pay attention to like a million different things. I love that element of it. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, the shield is to this franchise what like the Leviathan axe is to God of War. It's so satisfying to use and it's so cool. And it's your best friend. Like the fact that you can, yeah, you certain enemies will explode when you hit them with the shield. Other ones you have to throw the shield at them to make them stagger, or you have to block their attacks. And it's very satisfying. I'm only how far are you into it, Tom? Have you finished?
I'm like halfway through, so I'm a bit further than
Okay.
you are. Yeah.
Because it's like interesting how many times they can increment new things for the shield to do. I'm like, at some point, we're going to run out of things. I'm already struggling to remember all the different combos of things that I need to do. So I think that will probably come to an end at some point, and it'll just be like, here's new gun, cool. But it is like that combination of things has been really satisfying. I do find it really chaotic. There's so much happening all the time. I die. I don't die a lot because I'm not on the easiest difficulty, but I'm heading that way because of how much I'm dying, because you're button mashing, you're doing the wrong combo when you like make the mistake and then the guy hits you and you're dead and things like that. There are these things called life sigils that will resurrect you, which I quite like. So basically like lives, which are very useful, but they don't come around that often, which is
Yeah.
kind of frustrating. I would have liked a way to sort of more easily find those things, because like 3 sigils does not feel like enough in some of these encounters. But it is very satisfying when you start to get it right. It's just that there is a lot of ramping up quite quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And like I would say like without giving it too much away, they do manage to give you not necessarily like new like techniques or anything like that, but like stuff that adds to the your arsenal that keeps it fresh as you go on, especially with the shield. They add some cool things with it that I won't spoil it, but it gets fun. But yeah, one of the other kind of elements of it, I think by the time chapter 5 you will have played some of these missions, is they also have the mech stuff, which is like the Atlan big kind of Doomslayer mech that you get to pilot and you fight against giant demons, and also like the dragon stuff, which you're flying on a giant dragon and you're shooting stuff in the air. What did you think
Dragon
of
cool.
those? Dragon is cool. What did you think of those like sections and comparing them to like the gunplay of like the main chapters?
I like it. I like that it's every now and then, and like you can kind of break up these big, just like gunning, shooting sagas with something like, okay, now we get to do a mech fight, and I've learned the controls for that. And the dragon part's cool. I did just do the mission where it is like you kind of are flying the dragon and shooting things, and then you're also getting off the dragon and doing
Yeah.
smaller parts to the mission. So that's great. I like that combination of like, okay, it's not just an entire flying level this time. It's like I'm doing this and combining it with other pieces of gameplay. So that has been fun. I have found, I don't know if this is just a me issue, but you have to dodge a little bit on the dragon, and I will be pressing the correct button to dodge, and it'll be taking me the other way. So I'm like, what's going on? Is this a controller issue? But it seems to be like really sensitive, which is frustrating.
Yeah, I found the dodging a little bit temperamental sometimes, particularly with the dragon sequences, because there are times where you have to like lock on to enemies and then
Mm.
dodge their attacks to be able to actually attack them. Um, but other than that, I think yeah, like that's so much fun. It's such a power fantasy, especially in the mech. Like it feels almost like a fighting game the way they kind of shake up the combat in the Atlands. I think it's really interesting how you dodge and parry to like attack your foes. Um, the thing that I really love, and it extends also to when you're just playing as the Doomslayer. Um, the game reminds me of Astrobot in a way because of all the destructible environments and all the
Mm.
little giblets you like fling up and like
Yeah.
when you're running into stuff. I think it's so cool
But
because
they're bits and
Doomslayer.
pieces of demons.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Blood and
exactly.
gore.
Yeah, which is just like it's so fun. Like Doomslayer is such a force. He's an unstoppable guy, and he'll just run through like a shed or whatever, or like a wooden thing, and he'll just destroy it. Like it's so fun. I
When
wish
there's like
every
a
game
chest
did
of
this.
gold and you just like
Yeah,
smash it. You
Yeah.
don't open it, you
destroys it
just smash
completely.
it.
And like I don't know how it feels on the. I guess you're playing on Xbox, but like on the dual sense, it feels you feel the little coins like in the
Uh,
controller and stuff, and it's just it's so cool.
yeah.
So yeah, Astrobot and Doom: The Dark Ages didn't think they would have anything in common, but it turns out they do, which is very fun.
Well, even like the
Yeah,
level design, like there's secret areas to find. There are like
yeah, yeah.
items to pick up and things like that. And I wasn't expecting that from the game. I don't know if that's a new thing they've introduced, like looking around the map to find hidden areas and to platform essentially.
Yeah,
Um,
so this is I would say this is like goes into it like a little bit more. The Doom 2016 and Eternal definitely feel a lot more linear. But yeah, this is like expanded a lot. Like with a lot of the missions in this, you'll basically have like an open area with like objectives to go and find, and then you can explore the area around a lot more. In the other games, that there isn't really that much like it, other than like a handful of
It's like,
missions, which are
here's
kind of
a
interesting.
room, there's some demons in it, shoot them in the head. There was probably a secret item somewhere, but then when you finish the room, move on to the next room, shoot more demons in the head, listen to
Exactly.
excellent rock and roll music, and
yes.
just
Yeah.
feel awesome.
Yeah, pretty much. And it achieves that. I think like the exploration I feel like is just as fun as the gunplay. Like solving the weird little puzzles, like throwing a shield at something and then
Yeah.
jumping up. Like I just love all that. I think that's really, really clever. So um yeah.
I will say that like it's kind of funny to me that they're trying to shove a story into this game
Oh
because I
yeah.
just do not
Which
care.
is weird for Doom.
I don't know who I'm fighting for. I don't know who anyone is. Sometimes I seem to be on these people's side and they won't attack me.
Yeah.
But then there's like cultists and I'm like, who are you people and how do you fit into it? And then there's cutscenes in between each chapter and I'm just like, who cares? Let me get out there.
I find
No,
that funny because in the first in Doom 2016, there's a very notable moment early in the game where they try to do that for you, where they're like, we're going to tell you everything about this. And Doomslayer just grabs the monitor and just smashes it. And he's like, I don't care. I'm just going to shoot demons in the head.
yeah, and that's what it should be about. Like, yeah, I totally agree. Like, I feel like anytime a cutscene's happening, I'm like, oh, I'm watching, but I'm like, what is the heart of Argent? What are we doing? What is this
Yeah.
person like? And I'm not there for that. Like it doesn't really matter. The story is kind of like take it or leave it. But yeah, I think the fact that the gameplay is like so much fun, I can overlook the fact that like
Mm.
they're trying to make me care about whatever is going on in this hellscape. But yeah.
Yeah. What I love about it is that, yeah, I wasn't going to play it. Then the trailer was just so cool that I was like, I've got to try this. And it's really delivered on that. Every minute that you're playing, it's just so much fun to play and so satisfying. And it's challenging as well, but it is very much like, I missed this. I haven't played a first person shooter like this in ages, but it is a lot of what I used to play as a kid. And so it's kind of recapturing that for me. And it's just really satisfying that it is so cool.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
you guys would recommend Doom: The Dark Ages?
I think so.
Highly
I think it's
recommend
worth
it.
picking up. Yeah.
Although we haven't finished it yet, so maybe stay tuned for
It
a
could all
part two.
fall
That's
apart in the
true.
end. We never
Yeah.
know. Never know. Okay, that's what we've been playing, and that's going to do it for this episode of Controller Club. As always, go follow the show at Controller Club Pod on Instagram and Blue Sky, at Controller_Club on Twitter, and at Controller.club on TikTok. Also, if you're listening to the show, we have a video version that goes up each and every week, edited by our very own Tom Drew. Please go subscribe to us over on YouTube. Leave us a comment, subscribe, ring the bell. If you subscribe and do all of that, you'll get notifications when we go live, like this coming weekend when we're going to be live streaming the Summer Games Fest festivities and everything going on there. You can also leave us a comment and get featured in our comment corner. Tom Drew, do we have any comments from this week?
I don't think so. Let me have a good little gander quickly of the old channel here. I'm filling airtime. Nothing crazy. Yeah.
Well, then change that. If you're listening, if you're watching at home, please leave a comment on this video. Let us know what's the one thing that you want to see at Summer Games Fest this year. And let us know, am I crazy for thinking we're going to get a next-gen Xbox? Lauren is nodding. Okay, Lauren Rouse, where can people find you online and let them know what you have going on?
You can follow me at lrouse19 on the socials. Again, I'm really bad at posting about my work. I think I'm just spending less time on my phone, but I am writing things on the Direct daily. And also recently I've been writing some stuff with Pelaplat. It's a they've recently just launched their North American office here in Vancouver, and I've been doing some work with them. And I wrote a thing last week about how Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible 8, which I saw on the same day, are no Barbenheimer. So go find out why over on Pelaplat.
But he jumped from one plane to the other, Lauren. And I'm
That's not
talking about
Barbenheimer.
Stitch.
He's in a submarine.
And then social services showed up and took her away. Tom Drew, where can people keep up with you?
Yeah, you can find me at Tom Drew Art, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, basically everywhere on the internet. All I've really posted is my pulls from my Pokemon Destined Rivals booster box. I got the Team Rocket's Mewtwo, which is arguably the best card in the set, which was kind of insane. So I posted a picture on it on my Blue Sky. So if you want to see that card in all its beautiful glory, Tom Drew Art. Find it on the internet.
And you can keep up with me everywhere: Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, at the Kleinfelt, TheKleinFelt. That's going to do it for this episode of Controller Club. A long one, but a good one. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your Switch 2s if you have one coming. And as always, let's get gaming.